Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ramot. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to draft this funnest corset blouse with a shoulder. So something that you're interested in, then keep watching. So let's move right into this tutorial. So guys, from the edge of my pattern, I'm going to come down by 1 inch, which is going to be my shoulder line. So after I'm done marking it, I'm going to rule out a vertical line there. So from there, I'm going to come down by 10 inches for my bust line, 30.5 for the under bust line, and 17.5 for the waistline. So after that, I'm going to rule out a vertical line. From the waistline, I'm going to come down by 9 inches, which is going to be the distance between my waist to the hip line. I'll also rule out a vertical line there. After that, I'll also label it my bust line, under bust line, waistline, and also the hip line. So on the shoulder line there, I'm going to divide my shoulder by 2. My shoulders is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. From there, I'm going to come down by 1 inches. I'll also mark my neck width, which is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to connect it to the shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to calculate my arm length, your bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. My bust is 36 divided by 6, which is 6 inches plus 1.5 inches, so which gives me 7.5 inches. So I mark 7.5 inches. I rule it out and I label it my chest line. So on that chest line, I'm going to bring down my shoulder measurement, which is 7.5 inches, and connect it to the shoulder slope. After that, I'm going to find the midpoint on the armhole line and come in by 0.75. After marking it, I'm going to come down on the chest line and take in my bust measurements. My bust measurement divided by 4. My bust is 36 divided by 4, which is 9 inches. So I mark this. After that, I'm going to cuff out my armhole cuff. The next thing I'm going to do is come down on the bust line and mark in my bust span. My bust span is 7 inches divided by 2, which is 3.5. So I'm going to mark it on the bust line, on the bust, waistline, and the hip line, and connect it together. On the waistline, I'm going to take 1.5 inches dart. So I'm going to divide that 1.5 inches into 2 on both sides of the line. And I will come down by 1 inch from the bust line. On the hip line, I will come up by 2 inches and connect it together. After that, I will take in my waist measurements. My waist measurement is 32 divided by 4, which is 8, plus 1.5 inches for the dart. I'm going to return it back on the side. I will come down on the hip line and take in my hip measurement. My hip is 42 divided by 4, which is 10.5 inches. I will mark it and connect it to the waistline. On the underbust line there, I'm going to mark in my round underbust line divided by 4. My round underbust is 29 divided by 4, which is 7.05. I'll mark it and then measure what remains, which is 2 inches. So I'm going to divide it on both sides of the line and connect it to the waistline. I will come up on the shoulder line and find the midpoint. What I have there is 4 inches divided by 2, which is 2. So I'm going to connect it to the bust point. From the chest line there on the center front, I'm going to come down by 0.5 inches, and for this point, I'm going to come up by 1.5 inches and connect it together and blend it to the armhole. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to tighten the neckline. So I'm going to mark a 0.75 on both sides of the line. After that, I'm going to connect it to the bust point and cuff out my bustier. To make sure that one is no longer than the other because of the tightening of the neckline, so I'm going to close out the dart there and reshape my neckline. After reshaping it, I'm going to clean out the previous one. After I'm done with that, I'm going to take 1.5 inches for the darts that we took on the waistline, take it down to the hip line and distribute it on both sides and connect it to the waistline. After connecting it, I'm going to return down 1.5 inches on the hip line, return it to the side and connect it to the waistline. The next thing I'm going to do now is to mark in my side dart. My shoulder to waist for the front is 17.5 while the back is 15.5. So I'm going to minus 15.5 from 17.5, which remain 2 inches. That's 2 inches I'm going to use to take in my underarm dart and connect it to the bust point. After connecting it finish, I need to close this. For it to be able for me to close, I need to slash through the line on the shoulder line to the bust point. After slash through it, I'm going to close the underarm dart and reshape my side seam. The next thing I'm going to do now is to mark in my second neckline. You know that we are doing 2 in 1 on 1 pattern. So from the bust line there, I'm going to come down by 1 inches. You know that the first one that we did is from the chest line. This one we are doing it from the bust line and connect it to the armhole. From the side there on the armhole line, I'm going to come down by 1.5 inches and connect it to the other bust line. Just look at the way I place my hip cuff. After I'm done with that, I'm going to close the darts. After closing it, I'll use a marker to make the line more visible. So this cup right here now is the one that's going to be inside. Look at the shape on this side. That is what is going to be the inside. So I'm going to close the waist dart again and draw in my style line. From the waistline on the center front, I'm going to come down by 7 inches and on the side 5 inches. So after that, I'll just roll out the straight line about 2 inches and use my hip cuff to connect it together. Just look at the way I'm doing it. After that, I will also mark 1 inches and use my marker to make the line more visible. So from that 1 inches that I mark, I'm going to connect it to the underbust line. The second line is going to start from the first 2 inches that I first mark and connect it to the armhole. So I wanted to like snatch the waist a little, so I'm removing 2 inches from my extra waist measurement. So that 2 inches I'm going to divide it into 4, which is 0.5. So I'm going to take that 0.5 out on the side waistline. So after I mark that 0.5, I'm going to connect it to the bust line and also blend it to the hip line. Guys, the next thing to do now is to trace the cup out. So I'm going to place a paper under it and use my tracing wheel to trace it out. After I'm done tracing it out, I'm going to use my marker to make it more visible. So guys, after I'm done labeling it, I'm going to keep it aside and use my marker to make the second neckline more visible. After that, I'll start cutting out the pattern. So guys, this is what it's looking like. So for the shoulder, I'm going to sellotape where we cut out on the shoulder line. So from the side cup, I'm going to come in by 1/2 inches and connect it to the neck point. After connecting it finished, I'm going to cut it out. So guys, we are done with our front pattern. Let's move to the back. So for the back pattern, I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the edge of my pattern and roll out a vertical line there. So from there, I'm going to come down by 10 inches for the bust line, 15.5 for the waistline. I also roll out a vertical line there. After that, I'm going to come down by 9 inches for the hip line and label my bust line, waistline, and the hip line. On the shoulder line there, I'm going to mark in my shoulder measurement. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2, which is 7.5. I mark it from there and come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. So for the neck width, I mark 3.5 inches and connect it to the shoulder slope. So from the shoulder slope, I'm going to mark in my armhole length, which is 7.5 inches. So I'm going to take down my shoulder measurement down to the armhole line and connect it to the shoulder slope. So after that, I'm going to find the midpoints on the armhole length. So on the armhole line, I'm going to take in my bust measurement, which is 36 divided by 4, which is 9 inches, and cuff out my armhole cuff. On the bust line from the center back, I'm going to come in by 3.5 inches, like what we did in the front pattern that we use our bust band. So I'm going to connect it together and take in my waist dart. So I'm using 1.5 inches, distribute it on both sides of the line, also come down on the hip line and also distribute 1.5 inches on both sides of the line and connect it to the bust line. After that, I'm going to take in my waist measurement. My waist measurement is 32 divided by 4, which is 8 plus 1.5 inches I will took for the dart. Come down the hip line, divide my hip measurement divided by 4. My hip is 40 divided by 4, which is 10.5 plus 1.5 inches that we took for the dart. I also mark it and connect it together. So on the waistline there, on the center back, I'm going to come down by 7 inches on the side, 5 inches. Close the dart and draw in my hem line. After that, on the waistline on the side there, I'm going to come in by 0.0 like what we did in the front pattern and connect it to the bust line. I also blend it to the hip line. On the armhole line there, I'm going to come down by 0.5 and connect it to the side. For the back neckline, on the shoulder line, I'm going to come down by 1 inches and connect it to the neck point. So guys, I wanted to give the back a cuff shape. So I'm going to use my F cuff to cuff out the shape. And it needs to be tightening, because if you don't tighten it, you notice that there'll be a little bit of excess after you wear this, especially if your yoke had this kind of shape on the back. So I'm going to tighten it with 0.75. I'll do distribute it on both sides of the line. So after that, I'm going to fold it inside and reshape the cuff. After that, on the center back, I'm going to come in by 1.5 inches on the bust line, waistline, also on the hip line. Connect it together for the back eyelet. You can do as much as 2 inches, depending on how wide you wanted your back opening to be. So guys, we're also done with our back pattern. Let's cut it out. And don't forget to label your pattern. So guys, this is the end of today's tutorial. In my next video, I'm going to show you guys how I sew these pieces together. If you watch my video to the end, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and give my video a thumbs up. It really helps a lot. Don't forget to ring the notification whenever I posted a new video, it will notify. Comment and share. See you guys in my next video. Bye.